Hello, people of the internet. Marcos here. With me, I have Persona and Shifter 42,
Hi.
Hi.
and we're gonna talk about Power Rangers from beginning to current. But I think we should really start off with how we got into Power Rangers in the first place.
So I was 4 years old, and my parents put on Lost Galaxy, and then made me watch Mighty Morphin at some point when I was like a kid. So it's pretty cool.
Your parents did?
Yeah, they actually went out and got the VHSs and had me watch Mighty Morphin
Huh.
because they knew about it, and it's like, hey, watch this.
I was pretty much the same way. I turned on the TV one day, watched Turbo, and kept watching it for some reason.
Hmm.
I got into Power Rangers actually through Digimon. I was watching Digimon on Jetix, and Power Rangers just happened to air around the same time, and Ninja Storm was on, and I was like, hey, this looks stupid, but it also looks pretty good. So I continued watching from there.
When I think I stopped watching Power Rangers around SPD, I got too old and I guess I just grew out of it. But I got back into it not recently, but a while ago, and unfortunately, I'm still watching it, sort of including Ninja Steel.
I stopped when Mystic Force got announced. So
Wow.
Stopped at Overdrive.
Oh, lucky you!
no, you
Stopping-
went through all of Mystic Force. Oh,
Yeah.
Mystic Force wasn't too bad.
What do you mean?
Okay, I guess we'll get to it. Let's
We'll
start
get
off.
there.
We'll start off from the very beginning with Mighty Morphin Season 1. It
it's
was
a
thing.
show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. It really started off what a lot of us thought would be really stupid and kind of still is. Teenagers dressing up in spandex fighting monsters of the week. But back in the day, it was a new idea, well, pretty new idea for America, and I'm glad it happened. And even though it wasn't very good, I think it started something.
And it definitely opened the floodgates to
Yeah.
bringing
So
shows over here.
people keep talking about the spandex thing, but even American superheroes wear spandex, like Superman or Batman or something.
Yeah.
So it's the helmets on them and the martial arts they did, like the live action martial arts that they did, that was interesting and new, I guess. It was pretty cool. Because at the time, I guess, note that there wasn't any shows that involved martial arts in such a way, you know?
Yeah, at the time it was pretty new for a kid show to have this much action every single day. Since remember back in the day, there was a new episode for the week. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a lot of backlash to angry parents and stuff. I think that was more towards season 2, but from what we got,
There was
when
plenty in season 1, so
oh yeah, that too with all the fighting and stuff. Violence doesn't solve anything, but except it did for Power Rangers and all that. But I honestly don't like Mighty Morphin. Even when I was little, I thought it was too cheesy. And that was from watching Turbo. I still thought Mighty Morphin was really cheesy.
I'd agree.
I like the Frankenstein episode. I do. I watched it again during the Twitch stream that happened. It's, I don't know.
I know season 1 is just a product of its time. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very,
definitely.
it's very Saved by the Bell combining with an action show. It's very interesting.
but it's for kids.
For kids. Yeah.
I think even back then that excuse didn't exactly fly just because it's for
No.
kids. Yeah.
Well, no, it's because people were more like conservative in terms of like, hell, the violence on the television makes your kids be violent. It's the classic, 90s argument of video games / television / books make you violent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but did anyone really like fight people just because of Power Rangers? Even back then, I highly doubt it. So a lot of
Probably
it,
not.
yeah, a lot of it was really not called for. But still, I'm glad Mighty Morphin started what this whole franchise, this series, even though it's still not good. And even Watch Mojo has Mighty Morphin as like #1 for everything they do Power Rangers related.
Well, it's to really get the mass majority of Power Ranger fans started with that, and some only care about those few seasons of Mighty Morphin. It's very interesting how that works. Basically a nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
It's all right. Also, Tommy. Can we talk about Tommy for a second?
Oh yeah, of course. Back in the day, like I said, episodes were every single day for the weekend. There was a 5-parter, which was really insane, even for the time. Green with Evil. I think that was really interesting how they pulled it off too.
Yeah.
It's a very good arc.
Yeah.
Like, that might be the best that Mighty Morphin really has to offer is the Green with Evil episodes, and maybe some of the episodes that followed with Tommy and stuff. But those were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for season 1, probably a little bit of season 2. I would say the Green Ranger Saga arc, whatever we're gonna call it. It's probably the best.
And there is a reason why Tommy is the fan favorite.
Yeah.
Cause he's cool.
Yeah, he's cool. Despite being in Mighty Morphin, he's obviously like one of the best Rangers we've had. Even
And one of the most recognizable ones too.
Well, yeah, he did come back many times, so of course people would recognize him after a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's is that it? Is that all we can
Is
say?
Speaking of people recognizing them, I was actually talking to my mother about this or whatever, and she knew I watched like Dino Thunder or whatever when I was a kid. She was like, "Didn't that have Tommy in it?" I was like, "How would you know that, mother?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, I saw when you're watching it one day." And I was like, "Why is Tommy the Green Ranger there?" I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, my parents also know that very well.
Well, my mom has only seen Mighty Morphin, so.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, I think even adults knew the Power Rangers craze and Tommy, Alpha 5, Zordon. I doubt a lot of people remember the actual names for the Rangers, but it's still crazy how Mighty Morphin is that recognizable to this day to even older people and newer and younger kids. My girlfriend's little sister actually knows the Rangers for Mighty Morphin. I thought, man, you weren't even born back when that happened. But it's still crazy that people know this, and even today, the new movie is bringing Mighty Morphin or just Power Rangers in general to a new generation. I think that's really cool that Saban is still holding it up very well, and Disney too, back when they had it.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But I think that's enough for season 1. Season 2 that had the White Ranger, okay, that's enough, right?
The Thunderzords, awesome.
Cool.
Filler, awesome.
Filler.
Right, yeah, okay, season 3. What did season 3
when things got interesting, but in a weird way.
I don't remember. Was it just Alien Rangers?
Yeah, all I remember is Alien Rangers.
Yeah, Alien Rangers.
It felt like filler and Alien Rangers, and then whatever, you know?
Alien Rangers were so weird. Like, hey guys, remember these Rangers that you've been with for like 2 seasons? Let's bring in, these people from Aquitar that you can't really relate to because they're aliens. And have fun with your fighting show kids.
They made the Rangers kids.
I know.
Right?
That's weird.
That was dumb. But I guess that's how they got people to relate to it in some way. It's like, here's some kids now. Also, here's some aliens that fight.
Well, it did sort of pave the way for more lore stuff, because before they did say, there's been Rangers before you, and I think having more Rangers, and it's kind of weird to call them Alien Rangers when there's probably way more in space, but I think it did have something interesting there. It's just an entire, I think it was like 10 episodes dedicated to just them. Felt really unnecessary. Like, they could have helped out a few times, but it was just really weird to have an entire arc for the Alien Rangers specifically. A long time ago, I didn't know what Netflix was, but I was sleeping over at my friend's house, my buddy's place, and he had Netflix, and I thought, wow, this is so cool. You can watch whatever you want. They even have Power Rangers here. The first thing I checked out was Alien Rangers, and like the first 10 minutes, I couldn't. So yeah, season 3, right?
Yeah, Ninja Zords.
Yeah.
Wait, can you talk about how awesome the Shogun Megazord is?
It's big.
It's awesome.
And has guns on its arms.
Yeah. That's the best part of the entire show.
Are you gonna get the Legacy Shogun Zord if it comes out?
Actually, probably.
Alright.
As long as it's not $300, sure.
It's gonna. I think the highest they went was the Titanus for 300 or 250, something like that.
No, it was 300. They just lowered the price.
Oh, dang. Well, there's your Mighty Morphin retrospective, guys. All right, so
let's quality content.
There's really not much else to say.
It's been really done to death anyway. Like, if you've seen it or seen any content about it, you'll know about it.
If you watch any top tens or hey guys, did you know that Power Rangers is based on Super Sentai?
Whoa.
You'll know everything about Mighty Morphin.
No, the better one is whenever they say Super Sentai is based on Power Rangers.
Ugh.
Oh, can I mention something about Mr. S from CS Toys was mentioning when Super Sentai in Japan was big. A lot of kids, well, not actually, Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. A lot of kids were actually fighting each other.
What?
Yeah, and trying to do rider kicks or
Oh my gosh.
punching each other. I'm serious. That was actually a problem.
What?
I'm
Yeah.
not surprised.
So I'm surprised that I didn't really hear too much of that actually happening around here. I guess it's because they had the martial arts thing going for it in Mighty Morphin, because they were like teachers and students of martial arts stuff. So it was for defense and only fight bad guys. I don't know.
I'm sure people who taught martial arts classes love the fact that their attendance was probably up because of the show, though.
That's
But,
why
like,
I took
I don't
martial
know. A
arts.
lot of kids do stupid things, like they fight, like they try to imitate television. But there's
Mhm.
like a lot more. Like it's not very specific. Like you can't pinpoint it to it's because they watch Power Rangers. Because at the same time in the early '90s, what was also popular that was kind of violent? Wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like there's so many more things that you could be like, oh, they were clearly influenced by this to fight. That like you can't say one source did what. So
Yeah, I do remember. Well, this was like way back in like elementary school. I do remember kids in the playground wanting to like play Power Rangers or wrestling here. So there was some influence. It's just I don't think people actually got beat up and had to go to hospitals. Maybe not like in Japan, if it was that
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Very interesting how that works. All right.
So are we gonna get on to Zio?
Sure.
Something actually worth talking about?
Yeah. Awesome theme song.
Yeah, very, very amazing. I love how it's the original, but added more and different in a way.
They're stronger than before, right?
go Zio.
It's weird how every person remembers Mighty Morphin, and then the cutoff point is like Zio, and then people start remembering in space, and then cut it off from there again. Like Zio was actually really good. Surprisingly, like it was cheesy. It did have cheesy moments, but it also got more serious. The storytelling got better, and the writing got better. The actual characters weren't cardboard cutouts anymore. It was really good, and no one talks about Zio.
Well,
Nope.
there were problems with Zio. You say cardboard cutouts, by which I mean some of Tommy's arcs. People had problems with.
Well,
The whole Native American thing, but
Tommy had his time to shine in Mighty Morphin, pretty much.
yeah.
I like when they actually made him evil in one of the episodes. You remember that, guys? Maybe not. There was an episode where a portal opened up, and the prince of the Machine Empire brainwashed him into thinking he was the king of the empire. It was interesting how that worked out. And they fought Jason, who was the Gold Ranger at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really good. I think it was a two-parter. Yeah, it was really good.
Oh yeah,
Probably-
okay, I remember that. That was cool.
Also, Jason is the Gold Ranger. He came
Yeah, I
back.
love how they handled the Gold Ranger. So
Hmm.
And before they brought back Jason, there was actually some pretty cool mystery behind it because we didn't know exactly who would be the Gold Ranger. It could have been Tommy's brother or Billy. So I think they did handle it pretty well. And then Jason, the big surprise, that was really interesting how they pulled it off.
he's back from the peace conference.
Well, they must have had or must have kept in contact through like wired phones or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, 90s.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the peace conference.
Yeah, that got rid of people.
It was a thing for sure. Okay, so that's enough about that. The Zio was pretty cool. It did up a lot of things, a lot of the quality, and the villains weren't too bad, I think.
I like the Machine
Empire was
Empire.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually did stuff on like Rita Repulsa and Zed, who only like laughed every day. So
They were in Zio. It was interesting.
yeah, but they were more for comic relief than being
It
actual
was
villains.
it was actually funny. I did
Well, the
laugh.
Sheen Empire is definitely a parallel from, like the whole Rita is all about the magic, because, whatever, she's like a witch or whatever, and then they're just like all machines and
Mhm.
stuff, so, technology, magic, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty good. And oh yeah, we forgot to mention the villains from Mighty Morphin and Bulk and Skull and
I
Vulcan and
love
Skull
Zed.
were handled weirdly in Mighty Morphin, but in Zio they actually did some stuff, and they were cops at the time, so it's interesting. Or they were they becoming cops? I might be confusing that with Turbo a little bit.
no, Turbo's when they were turned into monkeys.
Yeah, Turbo's monkeys.
That's right. I forgot.
So yeah, Zio's a season where people actually do stuff.
Oh, and Adam is no longer a frog. Good for you, Adam.
Oh, poor Adam.
Oh, and Rocky. I don't even think he's that much better of a character here than he was in Mighty Morphin, but he was something.
Rocky was in Zio.
He's not the Red Ranger, that's what he is.
He's became the Blue Ranger.
Yeah.
Marcos. Whenever I was watching Zio on the Twitch stream, and it was interesting, he seemed like a bit of a doofus, a bit of a just seemed
Rocky?
dumb. Yeah,
Yes, Rocky is very dumb.
very dumb, and up to a comedic level. So
Yeah.
that's all he became instead of just Jason's replacement in Mighty Morphin.
Well, I think even in Mighty Morphin, ever since Tommy became the White Ranger, even the writers didn't really care about Rocky that much, despite him being the Red Ranger.
Hmm.
Rocky was like on next levels, like oblivious and.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yes. Yes, Rocky. Everyone knew that.
And Zio's the last time Rocky was a Ranger, right? Pretty sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think life just hates Rocky.
Yeah.
Alright, so Zio happened. People did stuff for once. It was really cool. And then Turbo happened.
Okay, so Turbo started with the movie, and this time the movie was actually canon to the show, so that's cool, I guess.
But it wasn't a good movie.
No,
No.
not at all.
I do like the show better than the movie, though.
Well, I mean, yeah.
The show was at least hilarious, so.
They got baked into a giant pizza,
Dang it.
which is probably the most memorable thing from that show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright,
I'd
glad we
agree.
agree.
Wait,
Huh.
I forgot to mention this in Zio, but wrist morphers, guys.
Eh.
Yay.
I like-
I don't know, the only
I
other
like
memorable
Morphers
thing
a lot.
about Turbo is the Blue Centurion. So,
Oh yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
he's my favorite.
He was my hero when I was a kid. Couldn't wait for him to be on screen. And I think they handled Turbo the worst way they possibly could, and that's fully knowing what they did with Samurai. But Turbo was, it was so serious with Zio, and then the most obvious thing to say is that they got car powers. But I think even back then they could have skipped Turbo and then probably go back to like Die Ranger or something.
I know, but then how would they write Die Ranger? Because then it would be like, oh, all of a sudden, our White Ranger's back,
Well, they could have kept Tommy for a little bit, then write him out like they did early on.
I
in
know,
Turbo.
but like, why did he get his White Tiger powers back? And
There's lots of ways you can say or Rangers get their powers back. Like he probably
We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll definitely get there once Trevor read it.
what happened to the Zeo powers?
I think we'll get there too when
It was an upgrade mostly. They didn't seem like they were destroyed. I don't think.
Yeah, unlike the Mighty Morphin powers, which I think did get destroyed at the end, but they
Yes.
still came back anyway. See, there's plenty of ways you can work around getting their powers back, whether it be a Deus Ex Machina or whatever. But they could have
Morphing Grid.
Or Morphing Grid decided to give it back for whatever reason. The
Did you say the morphine grid?
Morphing Grid.
Dude, it sounded like the morphine grid. I know it's the
Yeah,
morphine.
morphine.
Grid, but...
It's a grid morphine.
It's morphine time.
Yeah, it is.
I'm probably gonna have that as a thumbnail
it's morphine time.
Yeah.
if I can get the picture. But anyway, what did you guys think about Turbo?
I didn't like it when I watched it initially. Watching it on the Twitch stream, I think it's probably the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. So
Hilarious in like a bad way, or is it actually legitimately funny?
oh, I find it hilarious. For instance, like, you know, like how was that one episode where the Blue Centurion is like going off the fritz, and there's like one scene where he's like trying to walk an old lady across the street, and he's just like losing it because like he's got like a glitch or something like that. That was hilarious.
It's things like that that I feel like Turbo probably couldn't have done, since Car Ranger was more of a comedy Sentai, and a lot of that footage, I think, with what you talked about, was more of the original ideas from Car Ranger. And I get they kind of need to have the adaptation for the season, but they still took it seriously. Well, as seriously as they
I know,
could.
but they didn't take it as seriously as people try to make it sound. They're like, oh, they took a completely straight face. They were like trying to make a nitty gritty thing like RPM, you know?
Yeah, I get you, but still.
They're trying to be tongue in cheek about some of the humor. Like, how can you be completely serious and straight faced when you're fighting a sentient pachinko machine? You know?
You don't.
Yeah, exactly. And they weren't.
Another thing about Turbo, when Tommy was still the Red Ranger, all of a sudden he likes cars a lot and started racing.
Yeah, that's weird.
That was a bad decision, considering that he was going to leave soon. I don't think that was a good idea.
Yeah, the Turbo had a lot of weird choices for the characters, and then they switched out the entire cast, and it just got even weirder. But at least they got baked into a giant pizza.
And we got TJ.
And we got TJ.
And Carlos.
TJ.
And
Go Carlos.
yeah, okay, so Turbo.
Turbo.
Shift into Turbo.
Mm-hmm. Sure was. You can shift into it. Haha.
Shifter. Puns. I can hear the kill me in your laughter.
All right, so at least Turbo. Oh wait, let's talk about Diva Talk Show quick. All right, good talk.
She was pretty.
She was pretty.
She was pretty. Okay, so at towards the end of Turbo, the space things happened, and then they went into space.
Yeah, it was actually pretty crazy. Diva Talks actually succeeded at defeating the Rangers. I think, is she actually the only villain to date to actually have done that?
No, it's usually a thing where villains, like... Or are you talking about in general?
She won.
Oh, she won?
Completely. Yeah.
Besides RPM.
That's the only time I can think of. Like, without it being like, oh no, now we need to do something else at the very end, you know? Because they do that every season.
Yeah. Yeah, I got what you're saying, though, Shifter. I think that's probably the only time anyone did. But at the same time, why Diva Talks of all people? They could have brought Rita and Zed back with, like, some super Deus Ex Machina or whatever. Serpentera that they only used for, like, 2 minutes, and then again in Wild Force.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
yeah, that was odd.
I actually do think they did miss something, because Zed is the coolest looking villain.
Yes.
Right? And he was around all this time. He's like, why not use him? Why not use it, like, combine all the villains since Mighty Morphin to defeat and destroy the command center and stuff?
Because him and Rita are happily married now.
Oh, I forgot.
He gave up on trying to destroy the Power Rangers.
I feel bad for him.
He seems pretty happily married. I mean,
all right.
I ain't gonna judge.
And based on what happens in Operation Overdrive, they do have...
Yeah, they're very happily married.
We'll get there, but anyway, they went into space, and then we got Andros.
Andros is pretty edgy, man.
I like his hair. It's really weird, but I like his hair.
I like his hair too.
It's pretty.
You know who else has great hair?
Who?
Astronomer.
Oh yeah.
No, she has weird hair because it's all wigs and she just switches them out. I like some wigs better than others. You know.
I think her purple hair was probably the best.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's also probably her most iconic. So.
Yeah. So in space, it was the end of the Zordon era. The Rangers went in space, and they did stuff.
They sure did.
They did stuff in space. What did they do in space, Marcos? What do Power Rangers do?
What do they do?
They fight monsters and oh yeah, they were looking for Zordon. That's it.
Yep,
Yes.
that's the plot. And they got cool Star Trek like outfits to wear in the Astro Mega ship, which looked a little bit like a Millennium Falcon.
I thought the suits were pretty cool. The silver with their colored shirts.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. And the actual suits for the Space Rangers were okay, I guess.
They were cool. They were really cool. I liked them.
It's the colors on their chest that really bother me. But other than that, it does look pretty sleek, pretty nice. Like they would actually be astronauts or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And okay.
Right.
I think I don't know what else to say about In Space. It was a thing. Zordon dies, and that's
I thought it had a very good ending.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys are missing out on Carlos finally getting characterization.
Who's
one
Carlos?
season later.
I was gonna say, how long did that take?
That took a lot of episodes. It was like maybe more than halfway into the season.
They're like, hey guys, I have a personality now, and everyone's like, what?
Yeah, pretty much. I liked Andros, but at first, he was kind of, terrible as a character. He was just told to just be mean.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that, he got better with time and there was more of a plot. We're also missing out on talking about Zane.
Well, I was getting to that. I was going to say, it was understandable that he acted differently in the beginning because he did just meet the Rangers for the first time and he was fighting basically his own intergalactic space war battle and he was looking for his friends, so it was understandable. But then over time, we find out that Zane is actually an ice, and then they defrost him, and then he becomes a Silver Ranger with a really cool suit. I love it so much, but yeah. Andros was a thing. He was a thing.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Andros was a thing.
And we had the return of multiple Rangers from other seasons too, like Adam from Mighty Morphin, and that was a really cool episode.
Really cool episode. It was a two-parter, I think. Awesome.
Yeah, he used his broken coin to transform again, and Alpha was like, hey, don't do that. Then Adam was like, I'm going to do it anyway. And then he did, and it was really cool. And then
Alpha was right.
And then we got Justin from Turbo for some reason. He didn't morph, did he? I don't think he did.
I don't think he did.
Oh,
I don't remember if he did.
Yeah.
We got Jason.
And we got Jason.
At the final episode, Jason was there.
In Space was definitely okay. Can we just say Zordon era was definitely a thing?
Yep.
Yes.
It was a thing that happened.
And it's also interesting to note that In Space could have been the last season they made.
Yeah, so they went all out and then pretty much used every penny they had for the show. Yeah, and you can tell too.
It was very good because of it.
Yeah, every time. Well, it's happened a couple of times, which if you know Power Rangers, you already know. But Power Rangers are supposed to end a few times, and every time they do, they usually go all out with whatever they have left. And In Space is one of them, and it did end up pretty cool. You could tell the scope was big, and the action scenes were a lot better, and everything pretty much went to ending this the best way they possibly could. And like Persona said, the ending was pretty
fantastic. Cool. Like, man, I grew to like Bulk and Skull while I was watching, the Zordon era. But like, man, I was like, yo, why aren't they Rangers? Like, that was a spectacular ending. So.
Oh yeah, well, we didn't mention much of Bulk and Skull, but they did end up like leading a group of people in space in the finale, Countdown to Destruction, to help the Rangers and fight whatever was there, and it was really cool to see that. And then Zordon's tube got destroyed, Zordon dies, and then everyone becomes good again. It was weird, but oh come on, it's like 20 years old at this point, or 10.
I know, but I still have people, being like, oh, you should say anything about SPD, it's spoilers. I'm like, the show came out 12 years ago,
Well, that's scary to say.
Yeah, it is.
Whoa.
Yeah, 25 is coming up, or 2025 is coming up soon.
We're old.
Yeah.
Dang.
Alright, so apart from getting old, after In Space, Lost Galaxy happened, and again, it was a thing.
Oh.
I don't.
Okay, did any of you start watching the Lost Galaxy and the Twitch stream that happened?
Yes.
Okay, this was like my first Power Rangers season ever. I thought it was amazing, right?
Yeah.
This was this wasn't really that good.
Yeah.
I remember the pilot being like the first few episodes being good, and they were, but the acting, like Leo's acting, is pretty kind of like just bad, you know.
I getcha. That happens a lot, especially with older seasons. As people start going back, they're not as good as they remember them to be, and that is true. Lost Galaxy. I did like Lost Galaxy when I was watching it as a kid, but going back to it,
Yeah.
yeah, it's still. I don't want to say it's too bad. It's just lame. It's boring. Doesn't
It hasn't
do
aged
much.
well.
Yeah, it really hasn't aged well. I still like the Magna Defender bits. Those are still really cool.
Magna Defender is great.
It's the best arc of that show so far. The Mike was pretty cool, and I kind of wish he became the Red Ranger instead of Leo.
Yeah.
But then who would be Magna Defender? So you know what? It's a interesting.
Who would be the Magna Defender?
He has a shotgun sword.
I know.
It's so cool.
Pretty cool.
And he looks like a knight.
And he
I love
did
it.
use the Aura Changer to become the Magna Defender from
Oh, yeah,
Dynamite.
that was interesting.
Yeah. I think it's cool that they do that, and the Magna Defender still is one of my favorite arcs in Power Rangers. It's really cool how he gets to be the Magna Defender, but once again, Lost Galaxy just feels like it's there, just there. It doesn't really do much for me or anyone really. Alright, so Lightspeed Rescue.
Hey.
Really? We're just skipping over the fact that in Lost Galaxy, the arc about the Lost Galaxy was terrible?
Exactly, Shiki. who really cares about that?
And Shakina was bad as a character.
Oh, wait.
She was pretty.
Pretty.
Didn't Corone become a ranger?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So the Pink Ranger died.
Yeah, she
Kendrick.
actually tried, like, legitimately
Legit
on screen.
on-screen death.
On-screen
she was a
death,
ghost.
yeah.
A literal ghost for a second. And said, here you go, Karan. You're a ranger now, okay?
And it was great that, well, it wasn't really great, but it was weird that...
It was great, guys!
It was weird that it would happen during a crossover episode within space, which was really cool in the beginning, and then Pink Ranger died, and...
I was sad. It was still one of
And then it
the
got
most
really
memorable
tragic.
parts of that show was the crossover episode with the Psycho Rangers, which we forgot to mention in Space.
They're good.
They're good.
Awesome. Really awesome.
A really promising episode didn't get this bad until X-Aid when Kyria dies during the Christmas special.
Don't too soon.
I like spoilers. Oh, wait, I've seen it.
Too soon.
It is too soon.
Alright, so... I really don't know what else to say to Lost Galaxy. The suits were really...
Charlie Brown.
I didn't really like the suits. It seemed too busy with the white on the chest, but I really
liked
don't
it.
know.
Mecha designs were cool, except for their auxiliary stuff. That like whatever wasn't the main mecha were kind of bad.
Yeah.
The Magna Defender's bullet was cool, but the other stuff was weird. Thankfully, they destroyed. So
Oh yeah, we didn't really talk about the mechs much, but after a while, the mechs seem to blend together. Of course, the Mighty Morphin one is iconic because it's the first one, but then after that, the ninja Zords were pretty
Megazord?
cool. The extra stuff was pretty cool. I liked like Tor and Titanus; they were always really cool. Ninjor, even though his mech form was just a skinnier version of him. Magna Defender became his own Zord.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Trust me, if you were a kid and you really liked Magna Defender, awesome.
First of all, I'm sorry for your loss. Second of all, it was cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, Lost Galaxy was once again a thing that happened. And it was the first time that it was a completely brand new season with a brand new cast of Rangers besides Corone later. So it did again pave the way for what was going to happen for Power Rangers. And I get why they want to have new starts, have new stories, new people. But I also feel like maybe they should have kept a few returning actors aside from Corone again.
And Bulk.
And Bulk, even though he doesn't really do anything.
Literally nothing. Alpha.
Alpha doesn't do anything either.
Wow.
It would have been more interesting to see it, but then we really get a brand new start with Lightspeed Rescue.
Oh yeah.
Brand new cast of characters, brand new villains. I don't think there's any reference at all to the past seasons.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, completely brand new. And I think Lightspeed Rescue did it at least different, or not different. At least they did it in an interesting way where it wasn't too jarring, but at the same time, it was a completely brand new start for Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Shifter, I know you love Lightspeed Rescue.
I love Lightspeed Rescue. It's cool, guys. So what's cool is they're a government-based militaristic group of rangers and stuff, and there were scientists. It was very. I like the military basis of it because it's a new idea, but it really worked really well for a Power Ranger season because you have superhuman or superheroes. It'd be like how in Marvel there's Shield, and then they combine with the Avengers a lot. It's sort of that same idea. It's like it works somewhat.
Yeah, and luckily the Sentai footage helped out a lot with that too, because the Zords were more based on vehicles, which makes sense for like a military organization. And then they had like rescue Zords, and for some reason train Zords, and the
train was cool.
And yeah, the Super Train Megazord was pretty cool, and the suits actually worked well with what they were doing anyway. It wasn't too over the top, but it was more uniform, even more so than before. So it worked really well for what they were trying to do for Lightspeed Rescue.
Practicality.
Yeah, it was more practical.
Helmets.
And the characters,
all the visors were like badges.
Yeah, it was like Umbrella Corporation Rangers.
Umbrella Corporation Rangers.
Except good.
And a lot of the characters helped out with that too, because Carter Grayson, one of the coolest Red Rangers, was a fireman, and then everyone else had something to do with, well, for the most part, had something to do with helping other people. So it worked pretty well, and but what didn't work were the villains for Lightspeed Rescue.
Yeah, I was gonna say the whole we're trying to ground things in reality, but also Demon Dragon Lady.
Demon Dragon Lady.
Yeah, the villains. I know it's more Sentai footage, but like Persona said, it's more grounded in reality, and there's more military stuff. But then we have demons, and it just doesn't work for what Lightspeed Rescue is.
They had cool designs. It was a military government fighting mystical demons, and it's like, how would you really go about doing that? You have all these like giant mechs, and you have these ranger suits. It was interesting how they handled it.
Yeah, I understand that, but demons. I think it would have worked better if there were aliens, like, again, if anything, rather than demons from the underworld.
Yeah.
I like the demon thing.
And I do agree the suit designs are pretty cool, but to go another negative, the acting was not good at all, especially for Vipra.
Oh God.
And a lot of the other Rangers, they were okay, but at the same time, yeah, some of them didn't really do much. Others didn't act very well. But to have another positive, the Titanium Ranger was a brand new thing for Power Rangers.
Brian, I like.
He was awesome,
and he was pretty awesome. His own arc and his backstory, which I guess ties into the demon thing, is really cool. I like how they did it, and I love the original footage. I really love how they did try to have a sixth Ranger in there, even though they couldn't do much because he was original footage. But it was still really cool when he came on screen and he fought the Ranger for the first time, and then the choreography was really cool. And I just love how they did the Titanium Ranger.
And he was a truly bad Ranger. Like, he was
Yeah,
evil.
you don't really see those
Straight up.
much up until, like, SPD, so...
Yeah, evil Rangers were... we saw them like Mighty Morphin, but they were really...
Those were dumb.
Like,
we're not talking
people who aren't,
about
like, brainwashed or whatever.
Yeah, non-brainwashed or non-robotic, because, like, Psycho Rangers are technically robots.
Yeah, I still get you. The Titanium Ranger was a really cool arc. It reminded me a lot of Green with Evil, but it was like not 5 whole episodes, but it was still really cool, and I love how they pulled it off.
And all like, I don't know. I like the custom titanium morpher they made. Like, it really fit in with the rest of the toy line. So, like, if you were to show someone from Japan who liked Go-Go 5 this morpher, they'd go, "Oh, am I missing something from my collection or something?" Because it was the same quality of with sounds, even though the sounds weren't good. But like, it was interesting.
Yeah, and that's something I applaud Saban for. I think it was still Saban during Lightspeed Rescue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure was.
Yeah, I applaud Saban for trying something new because it was new, and they did pull it off relatively well. Even the whole demon thing, they still tried to do it right, and even though I don't like it, they tried, and I'm glad they did.
It was there. The try was there.
But
There was effort.
yeah, there was indeed some trying effort. So after Lightspeed Rescue, we got possibly one of the best seasons.
Time Force.
Yeah.
Okay,
Time Force.
so is it time for me to tell everyone why I'm scarred with Time Force?
Go for it.
Wait a minute. That'd be revealing my name. Let's not talk about the Red Ranger dying. Let's not
Okay.
talk about that.
Okay.
Let's
so
talk about Alex dying. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Why not?
Poor
The Red
child
Ranger's always like the
sister.
main superhero all kids screw up and like. Well, most people, I guess.
yeah.
I don't know. So it's like to see him just get destroyed, because I say destroyed, they don't say kill, by the way. Destroyed by why am I forgetting his name? Rancic.
Yes.
Rancic's awesome. But yeah, it was an interesting pilot, to say the least.
Does no one else find that more disturbing, the fact that they say destroyed instead of
Kill.
Kid
killed
show.
or died?
They still do that.
I know, but destroyed's like even worse is the thing. So
Is
You can
it?
come back from being destroyed. You can just be repaired, definitely.
because people or robots got you.
Yeah,
So this is now Overdrive got you.
damn it.
Dang.
Spoilers.
Oh.
Yeah, who wants to see Operation Overdrive though?
Nobody.
I guess we'll get
Exactly.
to it, but I did want to see Operation Overdrive at one point. But anyway,
Wait, 15,000 people did.
That's
I know
sad.
that.
Overdrive had
Yep.
15,000 people watching.
Yep, they had 15,000 people watching.
What's wrong?
More
with
than
them?
more people watched that than Mystic Force. Oddly enough, Time Force was when the Twitch stream was going down on viewers.
Yeah,
That's sad.
Time Force is actually one of the better seasons, though. I'm surprised people
Mhm.
stopped at Time Force. But anyway, Time Force is where the storytelling really took it up a notch, and the villains were really. Rancic was really cool, and the Rangers themselves were really cool. I love Trip. He's like one of my favorite Green Rangers ever, and
Dang it, Trip.
the acting actually got a lot better, too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sorta.
The only Ranger I didn't like from Time Force was probably Lucas.
Yeah, Blue Ranger.
Well, he didn't do anything really.
Exactly.
He
He didn't do
dated the
anything
girl.
except be a dick. So
He dated a girl.
yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
dated a girl. Woo!
The what's her name from the show? Whatever.
Nadira.
Rancic's, yeah. Rancic daughter.
Yeah.
That was actually cool. That was a cool episode. Cool couple episodes. Oh well.
Time Force is actually one of the seasons I remember most of as a kid, and I do remember having my collection being mostly Time Force by the time I sold all my toys. But Time Force was actually really cool as a kid because every kid wants to like time travel. They love going to like seeing futures. I don't think kids actually go to the future, but they love seeing what could happen in the future. All these futuristic technology and these robots and all the cool weapons. And then when I was a kid, I especially loved watching Quantum Ranger appear on screen because his mech was from the future more so than the other one. Well, from the past too, the dinosaur robot thing. And that was really cool.
Yeah.
I loved all that stuff.
Q-Rex, bro.
Q-Rex, which, by the way, Shifter already knows the trivia for the Super Sentai, but the Q-Rex, or I don't know what it's called.
Whatever. Say Q-Rex because it's
The
Q-Rex.
Japanese Q-Rex came with the Quantum
The morpher.
Morpher.
And that's the only way to get a Quantum Morpher in Japan. In America, we got a separate release of the Quantum Morpher.
And it was really cool, too.
Yeah, it made okay sounds.
Yeah.
So that's cool in terms of the toy line.
Well, there's your Sentai trivia for Time Force.
Yeah. Did you like Eric? Because I liked Eric.
I like
Even
Derek.
though he was kind of mean.
I like Derek.
Well, he was mean. He's like, ugh.
Well, I specifically remember him with his debut. He put his hand into the box. He got the Quantum Morpher, and then he was like standing on top of the building, and he was tapping his gun. I think that was really cool. I was
Dude, he's so cool, man. Also, with the Quantum Ranger arc, it was built up to be for West to get a battleizer sort of thing. So he would put his hand in the box and he'd get a quantum morpher, and that's why the Ranger was red still when Eric got it. It sort of really meshed together with the lore of the show. It was very cool.
Yeah, and it was really cool. I love how Time Force actually put some thought into not only the Sentai footage they had, but their own story and their own plot, their own lore. It was really cool. And the battleizers we haven't really brought up because
they're bad. If we were going to talk about battleizers, I'd have to talk about Andros being really buff.
I think In Space was the first time we got a battleizer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was weird.
It looked like an action figure.
Oh, don't get me started on like why do Power Ranger action figures have to have muscles instead of be thin and streamlined like how they look on the show?
Why do Power Rangers figures have muscles instead of being thin and streamlined like on the show?
Yeah.
I'm asking Shifter.
I don't know. Maybe it's for the appeal. WWE, I don't know.
Well, at least they wouldn't have to mold it differently for the battleizer and In Space.
They probably didn't.
Yeah. Well, battleizers always looked weird. I don't think there was really a good one, quote unquote. Maybe Mystic Force. I liked Mystic Force.
I was gonna say Mystic Force and Ninja Storms. I liked.
I
didn't like. I would have liked Dino Thunders if it weren't for the arms.
I always count the Jurassic Ranger as the battleizer.
Yeah.
Every time the arm thing happens, I'm like, that doesn't exist.
I'm like, I don't remember this.
Yeah, it was. Battleizers were always weird, and what were we on? Time Force. I think Time Force was okay. It was more streamlined besides the roller skates things.
I like the roller skates. Those are cool toys. I mean, battleizers.
Oh, and this was before, I think it was Ninja Storm when they started filming they were filming in California. And
that was the last season of film.
Yeah, and I was at the building in LA where they filmed the battleizer for the Red Ranger. It was really cool. I loved that. And well, that's just my own personal thing. So Time Force was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Now we're on to everyone's favorite season, or at least everyone keeps telling me this is their favorite season. So.
RPM? Oh.
No.
Dang it. Wild Force.
Yes.
What? No. I didn't like Cole.
No.
His shirt came off a lot. It was weird. It was weirder. It was weird when Leo did it. It was weird. It was weirder when Cole did it.
You think it's like the Odagiri effect for Power Rangers?
Oh yeah. Oh, it definitely is.
Not.
Actually, no. Tommy is. Don't talk to my mother.
Okay.
Tommy is. Don't talk to my mother.
Well, Wild Force was. I don't know. It was just so bland. Yeah, it was so bland. I don't know what to say about it. The only memorable thing is, besides Cole taking off his shirt and Forever Red,
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know. I even think...
Mecha designs were so cool.
Hmm.
I like them, especially when I sold them. But oh yeah, speaking of the deer, when I was going in my box of Megazords to try and sell them, the deer antlers had like cobwebs on them, and I thought they were cobwebs. It wasn't a cobweb. There was a spider on it. It scared me.
Burn it.
Well, I mean, no. I just I only screamed a little bit, and then I took out my Wild Force dagger and I stabbed it.
Your Wild Force dagger?
You didn't.
'Cause they had daggers.
You didn't stab it with a cell phone.
No. So Wild Force daggers were cool.
I don't know. Wild Force is one of those seasons wherever, people who really like Sentai way too much, they're like, oh, why couldn't this be more like the Sentai? I'm like, because have you seen Wild Force? Wild Force is like, close enough to the Sentai to the point where it's like, there's nothing really defining about it other than, oh, it's really close to Gout Ranger,
Yeah, it was so close that they even just put in the heads for the American actors onto the Japanese morphing sequence. Yeah.
I never noticed that until I got into watching Sentai.
Oh yeah, it's the exact same thing, just with the heads pasted on.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't think there's anything memorable about Wild Force besides once again Forever Red, which is pretty much what I'm gonna talk about for the most part when it comes to Wild Force.
You forgot Merrick being a wolf man.
Merrick was the only good thing I liked about that show, but he was also kind of weird.
He had
So
a weird like beard thing.
it's like he had the soul patch goatee going on.
When was Wild Force? Like 2000, 2001,
2002.
2002. Yeah, I just looked it up. So it was around the time when angry white boys were playing their pseudo metal music.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I understand the soul patch then. But anyway, I had a lot of Wild Force toys, and the Wild Force Megazord always gave me trouble because for some reason my bird Zord always got stuck and didn't want to change its head. Then I constantly cut myself against the white tiger Zord or whatever. But anyway, that's all I can really say. That's all I can really say about Wild Force is the toys hurt me as a kid.
The toys hurt me as a child.
So, are we going to talk about Forever Red yet? Can we?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Forever Red was kind of cool and kind of bad at the same time.
Kind of bad, excuse you.
Dialogue wise.
Oh yeah, well,
Some of it was pretty bad except for the ending.
well, there's 10 rangers. I don't think they can give every single one good dialogue.
I see. It was cool. They well, you got to see Carter just go and recruit Cole. That was awesome. It's like, yeah, my favorite. You know?
Yeah, and Jason was there, and all he really needed to say was like, you can't do this without me or whatever. And I think that's all he. Yeah, I like I said, that's all he really needed to say is Jason. We all love Jason. I think that for the most part, that's all we really need to know. Well, yeah, that's all we really need to see when it comes to these crossovers is that characters are back and we love to see them in action again, see the morphing sequence for all 10 Rangers, and I think that's really all we can expect from Forever Red, and that's exactly what we got. And the action was with their civilian forms is also pretty good.
I was gonna say I had some good actions in the like when they're they're morph fights, like they have a lot of bullet time going on. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. And when they were fighting the Beetleborgs, the big bad Beetleborg costumes as the main villains, when they were fighting them on whatever sand place they were, that action was really cool. I love what they were doing with not only the wireworks, but there was a lot of physical 1-to-1 fighting, so it was really interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
Shifter, are you dead?
Yeah, I am sort of. It's hard to say how much good things can you really say. You got to see the Astro Mega ship was like rebuilt for some reason. That was interesting. At least I think it's interesting.
Oh yeah, lore-wise, there's a lot of things to say about Forever Red, like how Jason has his Mighty Morphin Power Rangers back, and where all these other powers came from the Zordon era. But at the same time, does anyone really want to go through the headache and care that much about continuity like this?
There is one thing with the turbo powers, the two cars, like the red racer car and the blue racer car things.
Yeah.
In turbo, it had a backup morpher for Justin, so Justin did morph in space. But it had a backup morpher for him and in space, so that's how people canonically think of why TJ had his morpher in Forever Red.
Yeah, so there are some.
Thanks, Justin.
Thanks, Justin. Only good thing you've done.
Yeah, so there are some ways to talk about the continuity for Forever Red, but what bothered me the most was that Tommy was his Turbo Red form, and that was really weird. But anyway, I don't need to. That's just my personal opinion.
Wait, what was Tommy? He's Turbo Red.
Turbo.
Yeah, he was Turbo. No, wait, he was Zeo. I was thinking it was
Zeo.
I was thinking
Zeo
wrong.
wasn't really destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zeo wasn't destroyed anyway.
I thought
it's
Tommy
fine.
was Turbo, which would have been really.
He
weird.
was.
Well, I meant for Forever Red.
Mm-hmm.
It was TJ for Red Turbo.
Yeah.
I like TJ.
Okay, so that's pretty much it for Wild Force, right? We can't really say much else.
That was the first time that they started doing the whole filming exclusively in New Zealand. So,
I thought that was Ninja Storm.
well, they had the American actors or whatever, but last
Oh,
time I
oh,
checked,
oh yeah.
Wild Force was almost exclusively filmed in New Zealand. So,
All right, I getcha. Okay, so it's been an hour in, and we're already on, or barely on Ninja Storm.
Let's go there. Ninja Storm.
Okay,
Ranger form.
so Ninja Storm is another one with a lot of Oh, well, besides Wild Force, Ninja Storm is another one with a lot of memories for me. It's almost where I dropped off for Power Rangers, but I thought Ninja Storm was really cool. I love the first episode. I love the Zords. I think the Ninja Storm Megazord is probably one of my favorites. I know that's really weird to say, considering it looks really lopsided with the yellow tiger or yellow lion Zord, and but still, I loved every character from there. I loved the Green Ranger, especially Cam. Cam was probably one of the best Green Rangers. And the Thunderstorm Rangers were really cool. And for my birthday one time, I got the Megazord that came with all the auxiliary Zords with the orbs inside them. That was really cool.
Yep.
lucky.
I have that too. It's so awesome. Sorry.
Lucky is both of you.
And for
I'm
one
sorry.
Christmas, I got the Thunderstorm Megazord to combine both of them. It was really cool. But anyway, I'm sorry.
The mini Zord.
And the mini Zord was really cute. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry you couldn't get boy toys Persona.
I know. Yeah,
I mean,
my
they're robots.
mom's like, man, maybe that wasn't a phase. I was like, man, I've been watching Power Rangers for like what, 13 years now, and you finally decided that it wasn't a phase. Gotcha.
So did she buy you more Power Rangers toys?
She bought me an Alpha for my birthday, so I thought that was hilarious. So now I just have this little alien dude sitting here.
Is it the movie Alpha?
Yeah, it's movie Alpha.
Oh no. Well, at least it's Alpha. Oh well, Shifter, what do you think about Ninja Storm?
I love Ninja Storm. Morphers were cool. Story was okay. Luthor was amazing. I kind of liked him a lot. Or I guess you didn't like him. Mecha design was cool. I like how the Green Ranger's mech does, like, it combines with each of them individually, and it had, its own Megazord and other, like, full combination form with all of them, which wasn't in the Sentai for too long.
No.
Nope.
Which makes me really sad, but in Ninja Storm it was used a good amount.
Yeah.
Well, it was just because of the plot of Hurricaneger was weird.
Mm-hmm. It makes me sad. Like, watching Ninja Storm again after seeing the Sentai is very interesting, like where they use the footage and stuff.
Yeah.
I like the dirt bike stuff that went on, the whole X Games type of stuff. Everyone had their, like, Tori was a surfer,
Extreme
and Dustin was, motocross, and Troy. I said Troy. Wow.
Troy, wow.
Mega Force is on. Shane was a skateboard guy. He was Tony Hawk, except better, because he's a ranger. If Tony Hawk was a ranger, he'd be Shane.
Yeah.
I'm one of the few people who actually likes Lothar, so
I like him too.
I just thought Lothar was lame and too comedic to be a good villain, in a way. But that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, no, he's not a good villain at all, but he's hilarious to watch. So he's kind of like the same reason why I like Divatox, is because even though she's a better villain than Lothar ever will be, but like she's hilarious, so on screen.
Yeah, I understand that at least. Lothar had nieces that were part of his villain group.
They were terrible. I didn't really like their characters in Hurricaneger, and I didn't like them here. So
I was gonna say they were kind of just eye candy in Hurricaneger.
Yeah, I guess so. And then he had other villains to be with him.
Yeah, it's like whatever, Zergane and Motodrone. You had a bunch of generals, and they were the only people who cared about being evil. Lothar is like the villain who's like past being a villain at this point, and he's just like trying to go into retirement, but he's also like trying to finish out his last 2 years of being a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of villains weren't exactly the best in early Power Rangers, except like Rancic and yeah.
Rancic and Rancic. I don't know. I thought Zed was good.
Oh yeah, and Zed, of course. He looks really cool and did stuff sometimes. Sometimes. So yeah, Ninja
Sometimes.
Storm.
I like the generals, the other evil, bad guys in Ninja Storm, and the Abyss of Evil at the end was very cool. So basically, there's a hell.
Yeah. And we threw Lothar into hell.
That was awesome.
Well, okay. So can we move on to a good season again?
Persona, do you have any other thoughts on Ninja Storm? It
I
is your
like
favorite.
it a lot.
You like it? Okay. I'm just
I
wondering.
like the fact that they had evil rangers for a while. So I
Yeah.
thought they brought in them too early, but like I couldn't really help that considering the footage. But like I thought that was great. I thought Cam's arc, with the whole samurai thing, is probably one of the best arcs in Power Rangers. So
Yeah. And then he got an ancient electric ninja guitar.
it's supposed to be a shamisen. But how do you
So
explain
cool.
that to American children?
You don't.
Yeah.
You really don't.
Exactly, that's why you make it a guitar.
hmm
Yeah, just like a samurai, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, my friends who don't usually like my friends in real life who don't really watch Power Rangers, they always remember the Thunder Rangers a lot. Like, oh, they're the Beetle guys with the Beetle Zords. Yeah, that's so cool.
Beetleborgs, guys!
They don't know, they didn't even know what Beetleborgs were. They just knew that the Beetle Ninja Storm guys. That's what they call them. Like what? They've had a cooler helmet design, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like that.
agree.
I think Bug Power Rangers would work.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're like probably the only Rangers I can think of that are based off of bugs. So
Well, what about Go Rider?
What's that?
Okay, I'll just...
Power Rangers based off of bugs.
Okay. So can we move on to Dino Thunder?
Yes.
Power Rangers Roar? Power Rangers Score?
Yeah. It's
Don't.
really... I like Dino Thunder.
Eat.
Tommy.
The first few episodes were kind of bad. I like the first few episodes of Ninja Storm, but I was rewatching with the Twitch streams, and like I remember it, but it's like I don't know, it's kind of bad in terms of acting. But Tommy's there, and he fought a CGI dinosaur.
Roundhouse kicked it.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like Tommy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Professor Oliver. God, he went from a martial arts guy to a race car guy in Turbo, and then to a full-on professor in Dino Thunder.
Let him be an intellectual.
Timeline. Also,
Character
Dino Thunder
development.
was somewhat of his fault because he found the Dino gems with Mercer, and Mercer became Mesa Guy, and his other friend became
Smitty.
Smitty became I forgot his name.
Zeltrax.
Zeltrax. Who was totally
Zeltrax's
not
design
Snipe.
is so cool. It's like probably
You
one
mean
of my
not
favorite
Snipe?
villain designs.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Thanks,
much.
Shifter.
We'll get to Dino Charge, I think. Yeah, Zeltrax was cool. The designs were cool, everybody. Mecha designs were cool. Bad guys were terrible. Connor got a girlfriend who likes trees.
I
What's
liked Cassidy and
Kira was
Ethan. They
cool.
were pretty cool. So
Kira's cool.
I like Kira.
And of course, Tommy came back and became the Black Ranger like 5 episodes in, which is probably a little too early.
Who cares
Yeah,
about
it's a little
that?
bit too early.
Same with the Thunder Rangers. They both came in too early. Like parts 1 and 2 were basically like the beginning, and then episode 3 was basically filler, and then we had the anniversary episode, Legacy of Power, where it was a clip show, and then Tommy became the Black Ranger.
Yep.
Yeah, well, but that's limited once again by the Sentai footage. Like if you're going back to Ninja Storm, they're showing off the Go Rangers, which are the Thunder Rangers, like in episode 1. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, let's go to Toei and tell them to not do that anymore.
Toei
Okay.
stopped that.
Yeah, and then we got probably one of the most infamous Power Rangers episodes, Lost and Found in Translation.
That's good.
I liked it.
You mean the Sentai episode?
as a kid, I thought that was an actual like parody that they filmed themselves. I didn't know it was Sentai footage, and I
I
thought
mean,
it
I didn't
was.
really know either, but I was like, man, they probably watch Power Rangers in Japan.
They
Yeah,
do.
I know. It's called Super Sentai.
No, they do. They do bring it up sometimes.
Oh yeah, they do. They didn't bring over Dino Thunder though.
They did SPD.
Yeah, no.
We'll get there.
And I watched the dub of that, and
Weird.
it's alright. It's better than Mystic Force's dub. So
Yeah.
Mystic Force had a dub.
yes, they did a dub of Mystic Force.
Weird.
Ew.
You
They had
should just as
Dino
bad as it
Thunder,
sounds
guys. Yo, Trent happened. That was cool. Another evil ranger.
Yeah, Trent was good.
I thought he was.
They pulled some
brainwashed.
bull. They pulled some like terrible
He
ideas.
was
Like they had a clone.
brainwashed, but like, what's his name? Tommy could be
was.
like relate to that because
They
you know
did.
Green Ranger.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. They had a clone of the White Ranger just to fit with this footage they have of the White Ranger beating them up still. Because Operator Killer always wasn't really a good guy, like ever.
Just kind of shows up, beats them up, and then is like, "Yo, this is the game," and then runs away.
Actual summary of Abare Killer.
Yeah,
Well, Dino Thunder was good. I really like Dino Thunder. Although they should have had more Tommy footage, but I know that was more due to his contract. I still liked that Tommy came back, and the new Rangers were pretty cool. Connor was,
meh.
and it was good. I definitely enjoyed Dino Thunder more than most, at least. Yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah.
it. Oh, yeah. And then they had a crossover with Ninja Storm, and Ninja Storm Rangers were evil.
That was probably one of the best crossovers they've ever done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I like the In Space and Lost Galaxy one.
To the 10th power, I think it was Lost Galaxies, something like that. Well, yeah. Either way, crossover episodes were usually really good, but I think Dino Thunders was really, really good. Ninja Storm was shown to be really powerful. I think they were not evil, but but they were still really cool, and I like that about the crossover. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we got SPD.
Emergency. Awesome, I think.
Man, that was a show that when I first saw it, I was like, man, this is gonna be so stupid.
Was
And then when I actually saw it, like the first episode, I was like, yo, this is really good.
Yeah, SPD once again, like Time Force, had a big change in how they, or at least was more dramatic when it came to their story and their characters.
Yeah.
I think the Pink Ranger was just there again, like Lucas, but at least they tried for SPD, and they especially had a lot of original footage again, since they had a new costume for Doggy Kruger, and they had to refilm a lot of action scenes. They had to refilm every time they attack the monster of the week, because they can't just outright kill the monster. So they did a lot for SPD, and it was really cool when I saw it, even as a kid and now.
Yeah, well,
I'm
Sid didn't
watching
have much to do, but I did a lot with Z. I like that. So,
Z? Yeah.
Yeah,
Z, the
Ranger.
yellow.
hmm She's awesome.
Yeah,
The only thing that wasn't awesome about SPD was the budget, or lack thereof.
Mm.
well, they did use the in space costumes
I know.
painted them.
I like that.
Did you?
Yeah,
And
it had
the Time
a
Force.
Time Force. Yeah, Time Force existed.
And the ball of light. I mean, Sam. I mean,
We're not hiring an actor. Yeah,
yeah. We're just gonna ADR it all.
that's fine.
Sam. I think Sam could have been a really cool character if he had an actual actor behind him. It's just, once again, he was a ball of light that appeared sometimes. And I guess for kids, they wouldn't mind it as much because they just want to see the Sixth Ranger appear on screen. But for other people who actually watch Power Ranger for the story, which is like all two of you, it was still really annoying to not
All
have
two
an
of you?
actor.
You mean me and Shifter? Got you.
Ah,
Well, I was okay, whatever. But SPD could have been a lot better. It was still really good. I loved it, but it could have been a lot better if there was more money put into it, which they
Buttery.
probably weren't.
Buttery, yeah.
Well,
Buttery.
I think if they cut out the whole Battleizer thong thing, they could have had more money put into somewhere else. But you know, you gotta have the
Toy sales.
It was either buy Battleizer thong or hire another actor. The choice was the choice is yours.
They need toy sales.
In a perfect world, Sam would have an actual actor.
And we wouldn't have Battleizers.
Thong. Yeah.
Shh.
But at least they used the Battleizer and Deca Ranger. It was totally worth it.
That was weird.
Totally, yeah. Yeah. And the weird thing about the Battleizer was that they got SWAT mode literally 2 episodes later. Or I think the next episode, actually.
I like the fact that they have a SWAT mode, because then that takes a little bit less of a focus off of the Red Ranger. Because like everyone gets an upgrade now.
They trained hard for that stuff.
Yeah, I like when they do that. They did it in Mystic Force and Ghost Sager, and I did like when they have power-ups for the full team. But once again, there was the Battleizer was absolutely unnecessary when they could have put that money towards something else.
Mm.
And the Zords
Why
are
not
cool.
have one Battleizer when we can have 3 of them?
Zoids were alright. I didn't like the SWAT Megazord.
I'm forgetting the SWAT Megazord.
Yeah, but there's basically a bunch of ships. A bunch of spaceships.
I'm looking it up. I'm sorry. SPD SWAT Zords. I
They're not
remember
cool.
most of the Zords, but I don't remember this one. Oh, I don't remember this at all. What the heck? Why does it look so weird? It looks so bulky.
It's not cool.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I don't remember this.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, I won't. But is that the one that turned into a giant gun?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right
Yeah.
The
then.
command center turning into a giant mecha was also pretty cool, but very impractical, so...
Still cool. Toy sales.
There were probably people inside minding their own business that it turned into a giant mech.
Well,
They
it's kind
showed
of
what
the end of
happens.
the world, so...
They all go into special places in order to not fall all over the place. And there was an episode of SPD where the Blue Ranger switched bodies with an alien, and the alien like tried to steal the entire Megazord. And like people were falling all over the place, really awkwardly, might I add, because they're not in their special places that doesn't make them fall. It was interesting.
Well,
And that was a good Deca Ranger episode too.
SPD is definitely. Well, I keep saying definitely. It's a really good season. Show season.
Show. Yeah.
Show. Yeah, it's a really good show, and I highly recommend it. It's
Yep.
and especially the characters. The one I remember the most is Sky, because he has his own mini arc where he talks to a monster, and the monster of the week tells him that he killed his father, and I think that was really interesting. So Sky
That was a
became-
really emotional one.
I cried.
like
He became the Red Ranger.
So
he
did
became
Sky.
the Red Ranger for that. That was so cool.
Yeah, and it was really cool. I like that they did that, and I think they did that a few more times, not only with Sky, but like with other characters. They gave him
Bridge.
personality. Yeah, Bridge, I think, and then he became the Red Ranger later.
Buttery.
Anyway. But yeah, SPD definitely a good watch, and then after that we got Mist.
Here come the Power Rangers! Here come the Power Rangers!
I don't really want to talk about this, actually.
Why not?
I don't like it, really. I like Xander, actually, which is surprising.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you're the
Good
only
day.
person I know that likes Xander, so...
G'day, I think Xander.
I like Xander.
He just wants to end it all peacefully. He doesn't really want to fight too much.
When I watched Once a Ranger for Operation Overdrive way before I watched Mystic Force, and when I saw Xander, I thought, wow, he looks really cool. I love the uniform, and he sounds really cool. I can't wait to watch the season. And then I watched Mystic Force, and the best part about Xander was his cameo in Operation Overdrive.
Honestly,
Wow.
I can't remember... Like, half the time whenever I think of Mystic Force, I think there's only 4 of them, because I cannot remember the Blue Ranger to save my life.
She's
Or
cool.
she just had, like, you know, what's her name? Vita or whatever, the pink one?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she at least had, like, her weird sass Ness, and like she was friends with Chip or whatever. But like I'm like, what did Madison, whatever her
Yeah,
name was,
Madison.
Madison Allison?
Madison.
I
What
can
did
tell
she
you what
do?
she did. She had a crush on Solaris Knight, and that's it.
She actually had a crush
Well,
on Nick.
that's relatable. So.
I think she had a crush on both of them.
She had a crush on Nick at the end.
Oh,
Wow.
that's not relatable.
No. Why Nick? It was also interesting that Vita and Madison were sisters, but the rest of them were not related because Magic Ranger, they were all
Magic
family.
Ranger.
Yeah.
Here, only two of them are.
Yeah.
Well,
but
there are two other Rangers that are related in Mystic Force.
Yeah.
I think we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
But they didn't really do anything with the fact that they were related sisters, Madison and Vita. Well, I don't think they could have, but they still didn't do anything about it. And even though the whole show was basically the Nick and his family show, they still didn't do much with the whole sibling thing. Which is a big problem for Mystic Force, is that it is the Nick and his family show.
I was gonna say it's like one big episode of Maury.
Oh my god. No.
Yeah, and then you have all those crazy friends coming in from the side, like, "Oh, I've known Nick for years. Who you going around saying you're the mother?" It's actually Maury.
I wish Udana, which is, the white Mystic Ranger, I wish she morphed more.
Yes.
Yeah.
They didn't have the footage for it, but it was cool that she was the first Ranger that morphed.
I think the first
in the show.
morph was original footage for Power Rangers for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they probably could have done something, but to write it out and probably save more money on original footage was that her staff got taken away, so she couldn't morph until the end of the season, which is a really.
I liked her suit.
She had it for a little bit.
Yeah, a little
So
bit.
they did take it away a couple episodes in. But not too early, because I was rewatching it. That was interesting.
Yeah. Mystic Force is one of those seasons. I think Mystic Force is the first one that started having only 32 episodes. Something like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people were saying these next few seasons could have been better if they were longer. But
Did you want a longer Operation Overdrive?
Yeah.
Well, aside from that, I think the length of episodes doesn't really matter. You can have a good show with only 13, like Amazon's that other people like. But with Mystic Force at 32, and they still only focused on Nick.
Bowen, my child. Oh.
And they had 5 different comic relief characters, which was definitely unnecessary. So they could have done Mystic Force a lot better. And
Well, they didn't really need to have whatever his name is, Genji, as a character.
No. Well, they had him anyway, so
I know.
I'm okay with
again,
it.
I think that was because of sense. Well, I actually think they could have written out Genji altogether, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he was important to. Yeah. What the heck? And he even had an episode dedicated to himself. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that was a weird episode.
I don't remember that. I'm happy I don't.
It was some weird, it's in the lamp or something, and he's pretty much moping half the episode,
And he meets Piggy from SPD.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
now
Piggy's
now's
cool.
the crossover.
That was cool.
I guess, but still, not SPD. Mystic Force could have been done a lot better if there wasn't so much focus on a Red Ranger, and I think Samurai did that a lot better. Was the focus, and I guess Dino Charge to an extent.
We'll get there.
And
We'll
we'll get there. But Mystic Force again probably had an outline for something good. Nothing good really came out of it though. The action was still good as always, and the original footage with the civilian fight scenes were always good, especially with Dark Wish parts 1 and 2. I like those, and I thought Daggeron was a pretty cool character. I love his character or the suits.
Yeah.
I also love the suits too
Yeah.
in general. They're really
Oh
Train.
yes, I love the suits.
Train Megazord.
Another train Megazord. Yeah, there's a lot to like about Mystic Force, visually, but story-wise, character-wise, everything else underneath, yeah, not really. I did like it my first watch through, but that's mostly because I really liked actually watching it, seeing it, but thinking about the story and the characters, no. and,
Yeah.
and I also think what's his Wolf Knight, Purple Knight. What?
Yeah, whatever. So
He's probably one of my
whoever's the
favorites.
purple guy becomes a good guy. Cool.
Yeah, he could have been cool. Korag, that's his name. Korag.
Korag.
It was really cool at first, but then he became another not good.
He
Liam
became
Bo.
really inconsistent with the whole honor thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the Zords were cool too. I mean I at least liked them. I liked that the Zord had a little wizard hat on it. It was really cute. But
Yeah.
the Zords were cool. I liked so much
Dragon.
visually, and the dragon was cool, and the power up forms were cool for all the Rangers, and the power up Zords were cool.
Battleizer was cool.
Yeah, the Mystic Force Battleizer is probably my favorite. I love the blue accent on it, which a lot of people probably don't, but I really like it. So once again, Mystic Force looks really cool. Not underneath is really cool. All right, so enough about me talking about it. What about you guys?
Bad show. Cool Morpher. How about you, Persona?
I don't like it.
Cool Morpher though.
Yeah, it's alright, Morpher. I like
It's
the
a cell phone and a
Zord
wand.
quote. I like the Zords quote unquote.
Yeah.
Were they really Zords though?
Yeah. Oh, I like the Centaur Zords.
Yeah, that was cool.
Both
But,
of them
like-
are cool. We never got Korag's version of the Black Horse and him.
Yeah,
we
no.
did.
We did?
Yeah, when he gets on the horse and then he.
No, the toy.
Oh, the toy. No,
I'm
I don't
sorry.
think so.
Yeah, if we did, I'm like, oh, I kind of want that. But if I were to go try to get that now from Japan, yeah, haha, that costs a lot of money.
But,
All right, that's it.
Oh,
I'm done with Mystic Force.
one more thing.
What?
Another thing was that the pacing was also really, really bad. Like one episode, Daggeron gives Nick a white horse for the Centaur Zord, and that's literally the only time we get it. And along with a couple of other Megazord or Auxiliary Zords that only appeared one time for no reason. And the villains came out of nowhere. There was like three of them, and they died really fast. So
The villains in Mystic Force are alright. Like Necroli was okay.
I like the designs at least. One and
I know, but liking designs can only get you so far, especially if you're like thinking of like Ghost. Like, oh yeah, the designs of Ghosts are so good, guys, right?
Well, but I still like the designs for Ghost. I like the designs for Mystic Force, but I know they're not good underneath, like the show wise. But anyway, enough about Mystic Force. Let's get into an even worse season. Probably
Okay,
the worst.
This'll be short.
Power Rangers, go, go, go.
Bad.
Yeah, probably the worst Power Rangers has to offer.
I can't say. I actually don't think I can say anything good about this season, like whatsoever, other than the crossover, and even that I don't want to talk about.
Okay, I guess that'll
Yeah, I
be
was
me.
gonna say the.
Morphin Good exists. We saw a cool CGI thing for it.
Okay, but we already saw it in what's it called, Dino Thunder 2. So
It looks cooler in Overdrive.
Yeah,
It
I
does.
agree. Okay, I guess I'll talk the most about Overdrive. Overdrive was one of the first seasons that I've watched myself personally. Just sat down and watched because I really like the suits. I think a lot of people don't like them, but I think I like the designs. The whole adventure aspect was cool. Looking for them, I like the villain designs, especially the ice one. I forget his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to
oh,
like.
the Ice Prince.
Or
Or wait, no, that was Mystic Force.
Flurious, that's his name.
Glorious.
I thought the designs were cool. Like just like Mystic Force, there was a lot to like visually. Well, at least personally, I like the Zords and stuff. The whole shovel sword thing was pretty funny, and I
liked
did
it.
like a lot about it. But underneath, once
I
again,
didn't like the characters.
yeah, the characters were awful. Like, and including their own actors. Well, at least when it comes to Samuel Benta, the Black Ranger.
Yeah, I was gonna say that all the rest of them are fine. So
And once again, there's so many cool things. Like Lucky Mode was pretty funny. Well, at least that's what's called in Bowcatcher. And I liked the Battleizer. I thought that was at least okay. I liked how they used the shield for other rangers too, like the Mighty Morphin Ranger. And And the action scenes once again were always so cool. Like I love how the Black Ranger morphed using an enemy's weapon while he was fighting. It was really cool. And then the story just dropped.
Evolved.
Ugh. There's three factions once again, like in Bokenger, and it wasn't handled that well because one episode was this faction, another episode was this faction, and the only time they ever came together was for Once a Ranger, and I think like the ending or something like that. But even then, it was all like one-on-one when they were fighting.
There was one cool episode I did like was when the Black Ranger went evil.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was a double agent.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool, and like they faked the death of the entire team.
Yeah, I remember that episode. It was cool.
That was cool. We can talk about Once a Ranger. That was cool. Okay, next.
Okay, we need to talk about more than just that. I think Bokenger was the 15th anniversary?
15th, yeah.
Yeah, 15th. So, of course, they would have to have the anniversary episode. And
Back when the anniversaries used to align.
Yeah, and Bokenger had Bokenger versus Super Sentai, which they brought back a weird group of rangers that they didn't really have a theme to them. And same thing for Once a Ranger, they brought back Adam for the Black Mighty Morphin Ranger, which was of course always cool to see. Then they had Tori for Ninja Storm, and then Xander, and then Kira and Bridge, who's now the Red Ranger because of internal problems with the actors of SPD. So it was cool to see them all again. I love when they bring back actors and they reprise their roles. And unfortunately, they didn't have the rights to the Mighty Morphin song, so they had to make a completely brand new one. But other than that,
Oh, I liked that. It was like Adam's theme. It's Adam's theme.
Okay, it's Adam's theme then. and it was cool. I really liked Once a Ranger, and it was a two-parter too. So I was even better to see them for like
a proper two-parter.
Yeah, and they brought back Alpha, and they went to Angel, like one warehouse in Angel Grove. So I really liked it. I would have hoped they do it again. Well, they're not gonna do it again, but I hope they will. For at least Once a Ranger. Operation Overdrive itself, though, just not good. I thought Taizan could have been cool. He could have been. Same with Mac being a cyborg. I thought that could have been cool, but it turned out to not be as big of a deal as we thought it would be.
Oh, they pulled a Pinocchio. He became a real boy at the end.
Yeah. And then he went on an adventure.
Oh, you mean a Persona 3, so...
Are we, anything else? Anyone else? Like, Persona, do you want to say anything about
Persona.
this? I have nothing good to say about Operation Overdrive.
Can we move on, please?
Okay, so don't watch Operation Overdrive except Once a Ranger. There you go.
Good.
And then to another show where people had really mixed feelings until Linkara started reviewing it, then everybody started loving it for some reason. Jungle Fury.
Yeah, that's alright.
I liked Jungle Fury when it aired.
RJ? Yeah.
RJ.
Well, other than RJ, like, I don't know, what's his name? What, Dominic?
Dominic was crap.
I like Dominic.
But it's like, you know, like, it's better than, you know, what we had in Operation Overdrive, so...
I guess.
I mean, it's better than, like, saying, oh, you know, this piece of poop is better than this piece of poop. But, like,
I guess,
you know.
yeah, you know. I don't what? Sunglasses were cool. I liked it.
I like sunglasses. The sunglasses.
I want those. I would love a custom sunglasses. Can someone, if anyone in the comments, please tell me where to get those sunglasses.
Or I don't know if...
All three of us should get them.
Oh yeah.
I'll be the yellow.
You
Ranger.
guys can fight over red and blue. So.
Oh, I wanted yellow though.
Oh. Well, I'll
Persona.
Shifter.
No. Persona, are you the Red Ranger?
That's only happened once.
Well, no. The
twice.
The suits in Super Mega Force. There is a Red Ranger girl suit, and that looked cool.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
SPD
that was
had
really
a Red
cool.
Ranger, female Red Ranger. And
that looked alright.
And Samurai had a female Red.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but she's evil.
Hey, they tried to have a female Red
Oh,
Ranger.
we gotta go back on topic, but
Yeah,
yeah, we
I
did miss
know.
out on
Didn't
talking
I
about
feel
that.
like Bruce Kaller said something about that,
Yeah,
about how they really wanted a
yeah, he had to
female Red.
fight for, or not really, literally fight, but he had to basically argue with Disney that they wanted to have a female Red Ranger. So it was cool that they actually pulled it off. But anyway, back on topic.
Thanks, Bruce Kaller.
Yeah. What season are we on again?
Jungle Fury.
Okay, Jungle Fury. The Jungle Karma pizza is cool. I like their. I ate a lot of pizza when that show started airing. Like I barely watched it, but like now I want pizza. You know, it was interesting. I liked it.
The supporting cast was okay.
Supporting
By which
cast.
I mean the
Fran was
single-
alright. Fran was alright.
Single chick.
Yeah. Lily's cool. I like Lily. I like Theo, even though he's kind of mean. You know.
Well, I think that's warranted because he's the most strict of the three Rangers. He's the most into the training and stuff. So I think it comes with the territory of him wanting to be, quote unquote, the leader, even though he's the Blue Ranger. So I think it makes sense for him.
Yeah.
But that's just
Casey seemed really naive throughout the entire series. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. But I think they made up for it in the Super Mega Force crossover, which was really weird to say that they made up for it in Super Mega Force. But I think Casey was an okay Red Ranger. I feel like he should have been more leader-like rather than being the naive young newbie. But still, Jungle Fury has a lot to like about it, not just visual-wise, but like the actual story. I really like the story. At first, I wasn't into Jungle Fury. It seemed really stupid. They had to put statues on the Mook's head to be super Mooks or whatever, and I didn't like the suits at all. They looked really gross to me. But after a while, Jungle Fury did grow on me. I like the suits. I like the characters. RJ's still one of my favorite Rangers of all time. I thought Dominic was pretty cool, and the villains weren't actually too bad this time. Well, personally,
Spirit
Yeah, no, it's
Rangers.
just hard to compare them to Geki, though. That's the thing.
Spirit Rangers, don't worry about it.
I love them.
Spirit Rangers made up for everything.
definitely. I think they first appeared in Blue Ranger Twin Dangers, like episode something 12, something like that.
Wow.
I really like the Spirit Rangers. Okay, I wish I had
You're
the
spot
toys.
Yeah.
And the Spirit Rangers, once again, Saban or Power Rangers had original footage, original Rangers, which Geki Ranger didn't have, which was really interesting because they had 3 this time, and that's a lot of work to put into. Like Titanium Ranger was a lot of work for just 1, but then they had 3 that had individual stories to each one. Well, grouped up together for the Masters.
Yeah.
And it was really cool how they pulled it off, and the action was just amazing when they had the 3 Jungle Fury Rangers fight the 3 Spirit Rangers. And the suits weren't too bad either. I really like the suits for the Bat, Shark, Elephant Rangers. They were really cool.
Yeah.
The Bat one is my favorite.
I like that he's blind.
I like that he has a fan.
Oh.
It's a war fan. Those are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to like about Jungle Fury. Yeah, I like I said in the beginning, a lot of people didn't like it, but then I think it was during the time Linkara's reviewed it, or during the time Saban bought the rights back. Suddenly there was this big love for Disney era season specifically.
I feel like it's the Linkara thing because people were still crapping on Disney by the time Saban bought the rights back, but it was like after Super Samurai came out, people were like, "Yeah, guys, those Disney seasons weren't so bad, right?"
Yeah, then definitely Linkara has something to do with it, but I don't know. People should just have their own opinion. Jungle Fury I thought was really cool, even watching it my first time. I did show my few friends the White Ranger debut episode. They seemed to like it, so I think Jungle Fury is a pretty good season to just sit down and enjoy. Okay, thanks. Yeah. All right. So possibly
Get in gear.
Thanks, Persona. Possibly the best season of all time. Well, personally, I really love RPM. If you couldn't tell, I really, really love RPM.
Googly anime eyes.
Yo, it was so meta when they did those few episodes, and Dr. K was literally my favorite character besides... Actually, I liked all of them. But Dr. K was so cool. Ziggy's cool.
Suki was great.
I didn't really like Summer. She didn't do much.
I like Summer.
She didn't really
Really?
have that much development. I liked her development episode though. That was really sweet. And tragic.
Episodes.
Which was really weird. Like, of all characters to give 2 episodes for like the development, they had to give it to Summer.
Fine
They
with
gave
me.
32. They gave 32 episodes to Dylan. So
I read somewhere that they originally wanted to name the final episode Ranger Black or something like that. So I understand that. Yeah, but anyway, every character was really, really cool. I love Ziggy and Scott and I'm Scottish and everything else. I love them all.
you
He's
mean
not actually
Flynn?
Scottish. Flynn. Scott is the Red Ranger.
Red Ranger, yeah.
But the Scottish guy is
The
Finn.
Blue Ranger.
Well,
Yeah.
I meant that as Scott, comma, and I'm okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Sorry.
It's okay. I forgive you.
The mech designs are kind of whatever, but you know, googly anime
Individually,
eyes.
they're weird. As
Yeah.
a mech, I like them. I like the
Mm.
I like silver and gold mechs.
The
Whale.
Flying chickens.
Chicken and whale.
I thought the
Yeah,
whale
whale
one
sword.
was yeah. Well,
I liked Gem and Gemma's like episodes and like how they fit into the RPM storyline. It was actually handled pretty well in my opinion.
And they're
Yeah.
a good foil for Dr. K.
Yeah.
RPM was another season. What they were gonna end it after that. So they once again they pretty much went all out on what they could have for RPM, and you can definitely tell from what little budget they had, they try to stretch it out as best as they can. That there was a lot to put into it, and especially since the Sentai footage was more comedic, just like Turbo. Oh well, for the most part, but they still tried really hard to put the Go-Onger footage into RPM, and it worked out. At least I think, and. Vendrix as a villain was pretty cool. I liked how he was more of a computer virus, an android, you know, and he took over the world. He actually won, and then the Rangers were like the last stand for humanity. Yep. It was definitely a dark season for Power Rangers, which they probably haven't done since like Time Force, I want to say. So
Yeah.
So RPM has a lot going for it from the beginning, just from its story alone, but then the characters and the action and just the whole drama thing around it makes it such a good season to me personally.
Wow. So if I had to show someone a Power Rangers series, any of them, like the best that Power Rangers has to offer, it'd be RPM.
Yeah, it'd be RPM.
Agreed.
Hands down. Like, and I'd have them like watch as much of this as you can, and it's kind of addictive. It's a really good show.
Yeah, and that's even when the writers changed around halfway. It was still really good, even when the writing changed. And I wish we knew what the original writing was going to be for Dylan, because I think Dylan and Tanaya were going to have some different relationship. But either way, it was still a really good show, despite like the writers' strike and budget was running low. It's still a really good show.
The acting was good.
Oh yeah, all the way through. Well, I think Summer wasn't really the best.
Not true. I think she's fine.
No, okay.
I felt like the main Rangers were the ones who got the least development, which is ironic. So
Yeah,
like the main three.
Since they had the episodes dedicated to them and named after them too.
Yeah.
But I think that's all you really needed to have for the 3 main Rangers was their episodes, their backstories dedicated to them. Other than that, I think they did fine on their own throughout the whole season. Ziggy, of course, is another fan favorite because he's Ziggy, he's funny, and he doesn't take being a Ranger too seriously. I think that's what people love about him. Well, I think serious and then being happy-go-lucky at the same time. And
him and Dylan are a good team, so.
Yeah, they have really good chemistry. And Dr. K is probably the best mentor we've had, well, I think, period.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we didn't really talk about the mentors too much. Well, in Ninja Storm, he was a hamster.
I don't want to talk about mentors.
I don't want to talk about mentors.
All right, so...
Just K.
RJ and K.
RJNK.
There we go. All right, so RPM is the best season. So can we stop there? We don't have to keep going. Right?
We got to talk about Mighty Morphin Remastered, of course, because that was the season that came on after RPM.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take our Power Rangers discussion, Mighty Morphin discussion, and put like comic action phrases on screen, and that'll be our Mighty Morphin Revisited.
Memes.
It's Morphin time. Yeah.
All right.
I was gonna say, how many Power Rangers so really come after RPM? I mean, there's Samurai Sentai Shinkenger that comes on after that, and then
then Mega Force,
Ghost Ranger comes on.
Yeah, and then Dino Charge, and then Ninja Steel that we just said.
And then Operation Overdrive Part 2. And then Dino Thunder 2, Electric Boogaloo. And then Ninja Storm 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Can that actually be the reviews for that? And we can stop here?
No,
works.
We have to talk about it somewhat. You even said you wanted to say something about Samurai.
Oh, I saw something good about Samurai.
Okay, but before you do...
We'll get there.
Okay, if you know Sentai and you watch Power Rangers, watch Shinkenger because that's a better Samurai. Alright, can you move on?
It is.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
Like, some of the
Decker
episodes
was actually
are shot
good.
by shots of Shinkenger.
Yeah. But Decker was actually pretty cool.
I like Decker.
And Cole's acting, I mean, what? His acting was good here and not in Wild Force. Interesting.
Oh no, I liked him and Dayu. That was alright. So...
Yeah, their relationship together was pretty cool, and we have to talk about it more, Shifter.
I don't want to.
Samurai, Saban bought back the rights for Power Rangers, and Samurai was meant to be a quote-unquote return to form, but instead they literally copy-pasted Shinkenger for Samurai, just added...
Fantastico!
They just added a diverse cast of characters.
No, you know what made me, like, mad is... By which I mean the Gold Ranger made me mad, because first of all, no more Sushi Morpher. Second of all, they have an actor. This actor is Thai. Let's make him Hispanic.
Antonio.
Yeah. Let's make him, like, flamboyantly Hispanic and make him scream Fantastico every 2 or 3 seconds. Like, why do you do that?
Well, just like Mighty Morphin, Samurai kind of paved the way for what was to come for Saban Phase 2 era of Power Rangers. We had the Go-Go Power Rangers theme back. We had a lot more, I don't want to really say grounded reality shows, but more like Monster of the Week show. You gotta learn a lesson by the end. And that's really what we've been getting for the past few years with the modern Power Rangers, and Samurai is pretty much has to be blamed for that. They didn't really know what to do with Samurai. They only had like a year, or not. I don't even think it was a full year of preparation for it. So I don't think they had any other choice. I did read that there was a pitch for Samurai, which sounded really cool. That they were still Samurai, but there was more technological things to them, and it sounded really cool. But they really didn't have a lot going for it. Since
I was gonna say, but one of the writers really liked Sentai. That's what the problem.
Oh yeah, that
was the problem up until Dino Charge. So.
And we will get to that for sure. We'll get to that. So Samurai once again doesn't. Well, not once again, but it just doesn't have a lot going for it. If you want to watch a good Samurai season, just watch Shinkenger. It's literally a better Samurai, and it's more faithful to the Japanese tradition. And I get what Samurai's trying to do. It's supposed to be an adaptation. There's supposed to be more things for the Western audience to enjoy, but if you're not a kid, there's not a lot to enjoy about Samurai. I don't even think the action was that good, save for a few scenes with Decker and the Red Ranger. And then we got one of the worst things Saban could have done, but it was mostly Nickelodeon's fault with this too, was that they had to split the season into 2 quote-unquote seasons and have it called Super Samurai. And it just got worse from there.
They had super modes in the Megazords. And that was, I can live with that completely. Some of them actually look kind of cool in the super modes, in the Shogun mode that they had.
The Shogun mode looks really cool, personally.
So, I'm completely okay with what they did there, and it didn't seem that bad with Samurai. it was the next season where having a super part 2 was bad.
Super.
New powers. What?
We will
And then
get
we
to
add
it.
super to literally everything.
Okay. Oh, so let me talk about what's good about Samurai.
Yeah, go for it. What little good there is.
I was watching it because I really didn't watch it all the way through when it was airing. There's a couple good parts of it just being meshed together with the Sentai footage, like parts with Deckard. Like they could have definitely put in the Sentai's name's Juzo, so they could have definitely just had that scene, but they went through the effort of putting the actor, like superimposing the actor where the Sentai footage was. Like I knew exactly what episode it was from too. It's very interesting to see certain seasons and from Sentai and just comparing it, and like here it's definitely beat by beat, but they did do a good job. You know, they did try. They didn't try in the writing, they didn't try in the acting, but they did try with kind of everything else.
I will half agree on that. I know they try for the special effects and the editing somewhat, but everything else, it didn't seem like they tried too hard. Like I said, the action wasn't all that great, but I know what you're talking about with the superimposing thing. That does take quite a bit of work, even for a big or a studio like Saban brand. So I understand they are trying, but it wasn't enough for Samurai to be even close to half decent.
Be close to RPM, yeah.
Especially coming off of RPM. Well, I guess technically the Mighty Morphin revisit, but RPM was such a good way to end off Disney era, and then we got Samurai. Well, I know kids loved it for sure. I know not just my girlfriend's little sister, but I know other kids did enjoy Samurai mostly because look, it's colorful grown-ups in spandex fighting other monsters of the week. I know,
yeah,
I know it's more for kids, and I know Saban knows that is for kids, which is unfortunate because we got Mega Force out of it.
Yeah. One more thing about Samurai though, in terms of the toy line, they did sell us the Japanese mold of the Megazord at one point, just like they did with Jungle Fury as well. But the super mega blade, whatever it was called, is still being sold in Toys R Us today. And I have a friend who works at Toys R Us. They're still being sold. Like they're actually leaving shelves.
Oh.
It's not like you say, oh, you keep seeing them. They're not just sitting there. They're actually being sold. It's like one of the longest sword weapons Power Rangers have actually made until the Legacy Power Sword for Mighty Morphin comes out. You know, it's interesting, very interesting stuff. Interesting tidbit. Okay, that's it.
Let's move on to the worst part. Let's stab ourselves right now. I mean, talk about Power Rangers Megaforce.
Aside from Operation Overdrive, Megaforce and the following season are considered the worst Power Rangers has to offer, and yeah, Megaforce wasn't good. They didn't even try, and they had more time to prepare for Megaforce, and even more time than that to prepare for Super Megaforce, and it still turned out to be the worst seasons we had.
Look, that's what happens when you hire a cardboard cutout to, like, you know, do your acting.
Troy?
So
Troy.
They had a cardboard cutout for the Red Ranger.
The Ghost Ranger had an angel theme, and they cut that out like 4
Yeah,
kids.
well, they kind of have to.
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah, they.
Yeah, because let's be honest, there's some Christian groups that get really mad when, like, even if you, like, they could be fighting Satan and they'll get mad. They'll be, oh, you can't have Satan in that. Oh, you can't have angels. Because then if it's not, like, their direct representation of angels, it's, like, heresy and they want to destroy your network. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that happened.
And welcome to American audiences.
Instead of keeping the angel theme, they just had it, again, a quote-unquote return to form to the original Mighty Morphin days where it was Monster of the Week, and then
high school.
These teenagers go to high school and transform.
Ernie's. Literally Ernie's.
And they try. Well, I don't really want to say tried, but they attempted to have throwbacks to the original Mighty Morphin era, like quite literally down to the characters, what they say, what the writing is, and how they act, and they even have the cardboard cutouts. just like in Mighty Morphin days. And there was no story. Let's be honest here. What story to Megaforce?
Environment.
If you can just link that one video by Speed Racer Flubber in this video, thanks. We're best friends. We're best friends.
Shifter, why?
That's the plot of the entire show.
Shifter, why?
That's the entire plot of the show. We're best friends.
Someone get what's his name? What did they call the Sixth Ranger?
Robo Knight.
Yeah, get Robo Knight and just put Captain Planet's head on top of him. There you go.
Oh my god,
that was the story of Megaforce.
Yeah.
Can we get to Super Megaforce, or did you guys need to talk about the first part?
Hold up. So Megaforce had like no action. Well, they had like one action scene in the very first episode that lasted like 2 minutes and wasn't even that good in the first place. The story was awful. The characters were awful. I did like the Morpher though. I still have it on my wall here. It's really cool. And they had the Power Rangers action card game that had past Rangers, which was really cool. And okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay. We can move on.
But it's even worse if we move on.
Well, we can. This is now a 5 words or less summary of each Power Ranger season, starting.
No, I need to talk about Super Megaforce though.
Oh, you can talk about Superman. I'm gonna flee.
Okay, so Super Megaforce happened, and it took footage from Gokaiger, which is a Sentai. Anyway, everything was cool when it was using the footage because it was cool, but it made no sense why they didn't commit to a pirate theme or even change out the teams entirely for that. I don't know. Or they could have also destroyed the original Megaforce suits and like whatever, like how they've destroyed other powers before in Power Rangers. So I don't understand why they didn't figure out a way to just morph directly into Super Mega Mode instead of, I don't know. It's very weird.
Well, I don't even want to play devil's advocate for that, but I understand if they want to call it a super mode for the Gokaiger suits, because they've done stupid stuff like that in the past, even during Disney and Saban era seasons. So if they want to call it a super mode, I can understand. They don't even have to say it's pirate themed. They just call it a super mode. I completely 100% understand. The problem is why they don't commit to one. I guess I want to say theme. Like Super Mega Force just has nothing going for it in terms of theme. They can transform into past Rangers, but there's no quote unquote anniversary to it. Like they bring back a couple actors. They have
Casey.
They bring back Casey and Samurai Red and
Jaden.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all they have in terms of
well, they have more. Like Carter came back
until the end. Until the end. So, and I hate comparing Power Rangers to the Sentai because they're two completely different things besides the footage. But Gokaigers just did it so perfectly. They had cameos from at least one representative for every single season, and they had episodes.
It wasn't originally going to be like that, though. That's the thing. People forget.
Yeah, it was a product of what happened.
And I know that because
2011.
And I know that because there was like a crisis there in Japan when it happened. I think it was
that was Tohoku. So
yeah,
no, that was a tsunami.
A tsunami. Yeah. Okay. Well, either way. I know that, but Power Rangers still could do so much better, and that's saying something coming from Disney era seasons and then early Sabans. This modern Saban could have done so much better with their cameos, and even calling it an anniversary is kind of detrimental to what they've done in the past. Oh my gosh! But okay, does anyone else want to say something?
I don't know. Persona, do you have any thoughts?
Absolutely not. Let's move on.
Okay, I want to talk about the Sixth Ranger.
Orion.
Orion had terrible story. I feel like the actor himself, actually all these actors and actresses are really cool people. This is who they played and the lines they had to deliver.
Yeah.
Just, whether their acting chops are good or not.
I think the actor for Troy is seems really cool in interviews, and I know he has acting abilities. He's done other stuff before.
Well, that's the same with what's his name, Casey's actor. So
Really?
yeah, he's got like actual acting abilities, but like that was mainly just poor directing. So
yeah, I think that's a quick summary for Megaforce and Super Megaforce is that there's no direction to any of it besides sell more toys and action card games. So,
the card game could have been cool, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say the same thing about Ghost Sager. So
Power Ranger trading cards. That happened before in Dino Thunder.
yeah.
Okay, so Super Megaforce, yeah, not good.
No, not at all.
Let's move on to a better season.
Okay.
So, Chip Lin was the writer for Megaforce and Samurai, right? I think.
Who knows?
No,
I don't even want to remember at this point.
I think it was Jonathan Zachter. But either way, the writers for Megaforce and Samurai was a huge Sentai fan, which is why we got those stupid Sentai scenes or footage when they didn't even do anything with them, but whatever. But I think Chip Lin came back for Dino Charge, and that's when it started getting a lot better. Because for one, there was actual direction for what they were wanted to do with Dino Charge, and the acting got better. I at least think it got way better. We got Yoshi Sudarso as a Blue Ranger, and he's always a cool guy to have, even though he's been in Dino Charge. And okay, I guess you guys should talk too.
What do you think, Persona?
I like the actors for once.
That's
I actually
it.
like the character. That's probably like the first season of Power Rangers where I liked almost all of the characters. So
Interesting.
Yeah,
Coda was Coda, but
Yeah.
otherwise, yeah, it's fine.
yeah, I agree.
Chase what matters. Okay.
Well, unlike Kyoryuger, they actually gave these characters actual character.
Whoa. Whoa, shots?
Controversial opinion.
Well, you know, in Kyoryuger is basically the King show featuring other people.
Yes.
And in Dino Charge, they pulled that back a bit. I mean, it was still based on the Red Ranger fighting his father, but it wasn't as in your face as it was in Kyoryuger.
Yeah.
So, and it was good. Once again, it was a Monster of the Week formula, but there was more of a ongoing plot as it went along. They got more Rangers, and I think the final episode was getting the Purple Ranger, which was really cool. And I did like Dino Charge, although I wish it stopped at episode 20.
I like how they, how there were Spirit Rangers in the Sentai. I like how they handled the, Gray not being around because he's some prince of another country, or the Aqua Ranger being what's his name's dad. That was interesting.
Yeah.
It wasn't good. It's like, why are they pretty much the same age? Why would you think that's a good idea? Whatever.
It's because the person that they had playing Cyan, Aqua, whatever the hell we're gonna call it, initially is like an older dude. So
that's fine. Okay,
Ramirez.
So that happened. So there's a reason why they aren't there at all times, and they were not part of the main team, but they were still able to have Energems and morph. Also, the American Energem bits, like that weren't batteries, like those look cool. I wish they sold those officially.
Oh.
No,
Yeah,
officially.
They're custom ones, though.
Custom, but not officially.
Yeah. Again, Dino Charge is really cool, and I think the whole HD to it also looks absolutely beautiful. I love seeing a modern Power Rangers in HD, no matter what season it is. So yeah, Dino Charge had a lot to go in for it. Can we skip Super Dino Charge?
I didn't really finish Super Dino Charge. Well, I saw the end. I just didn't.
Dino Supercharge.
Dino Super. Is it bad?
No, it's weird.
Yeah, I personally didn't like it that much. What do you think, Persona?
What they do with the villain, I was like, I feel like a lot of the things that happened in Super Dino Charge were not what they wanted to happen. Like some, like, you know, crap hit the fan in terms of like the writing department or something, and a lot of things got like changed. That's what I feel like happened anyway.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't. It's not. It's not Megaforce. So.
There was definitely a shift in something when it came to Dino Supercharged. Okay, so imagine Dino Charged, but it just dropped in quality a little bit. It did get weird, but personally, I just didn't get into it. I didn't really like the new Rangers, and I really don't know what else to say about it. It just wasn't all that great. But we
It
can,
existed.
yeah, it existed. Unlike Dino Thunder now.
Yeah, no, don't remind me too soon.
I like Dino Thunder, but Dino Charge seemed a bit more fun.
It was definitely a lot more fun, and there was more going on. But the ending is also kind of controversial for Dino Supercharged.
Yeah, I don't like that ending.
Okay, it ruined the timeline of Earth
Yeah,
in general, and that is stupid, terrible decision.
but it also ruined, you know, Power Rangers continuity.
Continuity,
So.
yeah. So that's
We
cool.
had that going for us.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're almost to the end, guys. Just a little bit more. Almost there. So Kiba Ranger season 2, right? It was really really cool.
What?
I like how they kept going with this Ninja Steel. So they skipped Tokyuja, right?
Yeah.
And
I'm okay with that.
Me too.
I understand the decision. I wish there was, but I understand. Yeah, it's whatever though. So Ninja Steel, are you guys watching? Well, actually, I don't think Shifter is.
I
No.
stopped watching a couple weeks ago.
I dropped it after episode 2.
Did you guys see the Six Ranger morph?
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I cried. There's no burger morpher. Please make sure you have a picture of the burger morpher available in the video so that everyone gets to see what they're missing
I was
out
gonna
on.
just have it like sitting on a tombstone, rest in peace. You know?
Pretty much. I know it's silly. I know it probably wouldn't work, but it was the best part of Ninja. But okay. So Ninja Steel has to end before I actually can have a retrospective.
Well,
I already know where they're going wrong. If you want me to tell you what was going wrong now,
go for
everything. So maybe they'll come back around. I don't know.
What
do you think?
I think what's really going wrong with Ninja Steel is the editing. The shots last way too long. Like they should have cut out and went to the next scene. And
yeah, and then like some things are too abrupt.
yeah, definitely. It's the editing that's getting to me the most. And the story is okay, I guess, but there's like no pace to it, and I mean pace, like a literal pace, as in the editing. There's no beat or rhythm to how they're going along with it, and the acting isn't all that good too, especially for Brody.
I wonder where my brother hid the Ninja Steel. I feel like that's just really bad direction on the part of whoever is directing Ninja Steel. Just, I mean, it probably is also bad acting, but like, man, we need the Red Ranger to sound like the, you know, tutorial character in a video game. That's what he sounds like to me, anyway. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go, guys.
Now let's go find the Ninja Steel.
They're probably gonna use that for the inevitable 3DS game for Ninja Steel.
Oh god, this is
Ninja
Brody's
spin.
one.
Sorry.
Wow, that was awesome. Keep it up. So,
All right.
at least the Pink Ranger is kind of cute, right?
I like the Pink Ranger. There's other than like Brody, like there's not a Ranger that I hate. So I like Blue probably the best.
Yeah, Blue's probably the fan favorite too.
Because it's a Siddhartha.
Yeah. How many Siddhartha brothers are there? Like 2?
There could
Yeah,
be
I
a
was gonna
third.
say
Who
how
knows?
many?
I wish there was 4. That would have a Siddhartha brother for the next couple of seasons.
What if
It
this
would make
cover
things
you
better.
down?
Well, anyway, I think that's it for Ninja Steel, right?
Yeah, it's bad. Oh, the mecha designs are weird, but that's how they were, in Japan.
Well, I really like the mecha. Like even
Red Boot, yeah,
even Ninja, I really like the mechas. Like the fact that the red or any mecha really sits down on top of the bigger mecha, and then that mecha sits down on top of another bigger mecha. I think that's really
yeah.
cool.
I like what our toy line is doing with. Oh, you could put the 5-inch figures in there, guys. Japan didn't tell you to do that because
Sword
they barely sell figures.
builder.
So I'm like, oh, that's cool, I guess. So anyone can pilot the mecha. That's cool. And I like that. If anyone's seen anything from Toy Fair, the giant fortress it's huge.
Yeah.
I like that. Another thing with the toy line is if you want to get any of the auxiliary mecha, they're all in their own Megazord, like repaint of the Megazord.
Yeah.
I don't like that. That's a bad idea, and it won't be accurate to the show. So if a parents are buying a Megazord for a kid, I don't think they'd go and get a separate Megazord just for a little piece for the kid to like make an accurate thing. Like it won't be accurate. So I think that what they wanted was more Megazord sales because they had such good sales with Dino Charge Auxiliary Mecha. But even like Dino Charge did repaints, but they were actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
And did sell, but I don't think lightning will strike twice there. And oh well.
Well, I did like the repaints. It was a really neat idea, like a what if for the Dino Charge mechas. But when it comes to the Ninja Steel toys, at least the Dino Charge mechas were separate. But this time you had to buy the actual full-on mech if you want the auxiliary Zord, like you said, and that's the wrong way to go about it because they're like $35 each. I'm not gonna pay $35 just for one auxiliary Zord and a repaint that I already probably have anyway. So yeah, that's Ninja Steel. Did we want to talk about like our future predictions for Power Rangers?
No.
Okay, so we'll do it anyway. I'm pretty sure we all know that Zyuohger will be
Zyuohger is
skipped.
getting skipped so hard.
No Lost Galaxy 2?
I'm hoping that we'll have at the very least the quality as we did for Dino Charge. It's fine. I'm okay with that if they go with Q Ranger. And and the worst part I know is that they're probably gonna cut down a lot of what Q Ranger's doing. That they might even go to Earth in like episode 2 if they don't already start on Earth or whatever. But I am hoping for maybe an In Space 2.0, Lost Galaxy 2.0, and anything as long as it looks cool and there's like no big problem with it, then I'm hoping for good things with Q Ranger adaptation. Astral Force.
Astral Force.
Astral Force. Astral Steel.
Oh my
Maybe that's what they'll do. They'll do Super Ninja Steel, but it'll be Q Ranger. That would hurt.
Don't say that.
No.
Did
They
I
could
just
totally
curse?
do that.
It hurts.
Did I just curse the Power Rangers franchise?
You just did.
Oh no.
It can happen.
Ew, cute.
All right.
Cute.
So, what do you think, Persona?
I'm thinking that since they're holding consistent viewership with Ninja Steel as they did with, because the only time they really had like a major drop in viewership, by which I mean under like 2 million, which is their average, was during
The Gold Ranger.
Well, Gold Ranger, but like I'm talking about like in terms of a series overall was mainly Mega Force was when they had a big drop. So.
Oh, all right.
But like that, they've kept a consistent viewership, and I don't see why they would change anything otherwise. Like they would want to do anything, revolutionary or good, because
Yeah.
it's working, it's selling. I never really saw kids running around in like Megaforce stuff, but like this year, like kids were really into Dino Charge. So, and at the end of the day, this is for the kids. So.
Yeah.
It's a kid's
People
show.
forget that a lot. It's like, oh, why don't they make a show for the fans? It's like, because they're making a show for not your demographic. I'm sorry.
Wait, they made a movie for your demographic, and I
I
wonder how
know.
that turned out, right, Marcos?
It was fantastic. Please go see it right now.
Really? Okay.
Oh, did you not see it? Oh yeah, you did it.
I haven't seen it.
So it's better than RPM? Whoa.
It's more edgier than RPM. Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Oh, whoa.
Well, is there a gun to your head or something?
Why you sound like you're about to have a panic attack there, Marcos? Is something wrong?
Yes.
Lionsgate has a gun to his head.
Lionsgate has a gun to his head.
All right. So, what do you think, Shifter, for the future of Power Rangers?
They cancel the show and maybe do what they were what Disney wanted to do and make it cartoon, or they continue with movies. I'm serious.
I can give you
cancel.
the prediction based on
What?
the current fan base.
Which is?
They should just drop Power Rangers and adapt Kamen Rider Drive because it showed up in that one leaked promotional image.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Every time anyone says that, I lose 10 years to my life, so keep saying it.
You have no life.
Yeah, pretty much at this point, yeah.
Are you sure the current fan base isn't saying to just dub over the Sentai?
They're not corporate Disney in 2009, so
I get it.
yeah, they did
Just
that. They
use the
literally
fight scene.
told them maybe you should dub over the Sentai footage, and Bruce Kalish was like, "Yeah, that's why I'm out of here." It's like, as much as like people hate his, sort of, style of doing Power Rangers, he like legitimately cared about the show, so
Yeah.
he wanted to make a good kids show.
Mm.
Or people, are like, oh, all the explosions. No, blame that on Sakamoto. So
Yeah, that's another Linkar thing that he called it Kalish explosions when it wasn't even Bruce Kalish's.
Koichi explosions.
Oh well. Well, as a whole, Power Rangers is here to stay as much as we don't want it, or we do want it to. So, is that it? Those are our final thoughts on the whole entirety of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
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 It's my childhood, and it can totally be ruined just by watching Megaforce.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's morphine time.
Totally is.
We should all say that at once, like how they do
Okay.
in the show.
Okay, let's go for it.
Who's gonna do a countdown?
I'm Shifter, and I'm... Oh, dang it. 42,
Go, it's morphine time!
41,
I hate
40,
you.
30. All right. 3, 2, 1.
It's morphine
It's morphin'
time! See ya!
All right. So, yeah, bye.
So, what's interesting about that Twitch stream